So we have been doing our OData implementation, OData service creation and generation, and working on runtime artifacts and looking at all the HTTP methods, and we were implementing it. Now this is time for us to look for some example. So we take an example. With that example, we are going to work end to end, starting creating from OData service, and we will use that OData service to uh, generate Fiori application, and how we make the complete app as a transactional application, and the backend, what happens in the backend, everything end to end, and registering this Fiori application on our launchpad. Once we develop it, deploying back to backend system, and creating a role to it, and creating a tile and assigning and enabling it to the user. Okay, so I hope that will give us more confidence in terms of what happens end to end scenarios. So if something is not working, we can realize what is going wrong, or where it could be exactly something like that. So in this case, we will be looking at this example using our V2 OData service, whatever we have created using Gateway Builder, and we'll use this for our transactional purpose, and also we will be using the same for Fiori elements. So we will use same backend tables for our transactional app creation using Fiori elements on top of CDS views. Okay, and at the same time, we will use the same database tables for our V4 OData service creation as well. So this data model and this app flow is going to be used across our training. If something, so at some point, I think
Chandra,
yes,
I see the travel plan.
yes,
Okay.
I'm not into the slide yet,
Oh,
right? Okay. So this one, at whatever the place, if we need something like Fiori elements, so basically they might expect some GUIDs. We can tackle those situations with our alternate keys, but in fact, if we definitely needed GUIDs, then at that point of time we will take a call whether we include GUID in our existing data model. I will just copy and add GUIDs into our data models, the newly create data models. And this is what we are planning to do for our example. So here we just allow an option in the app itself to create the travel request. So once the request is created by the user, and if it is submitted or not, so if it is submitted, uh, it will directly go to approval check. And if this is approval required, we have some config tables as well to meet this criteria, and using those config tables, we will publish some APIs. So it will tell us whether approval required or not. And from there, if the approval is required, it will go to approval status, and it will just step. We are not having any workflow built here, because that will need again additional efforts and additional time, and of course it is additional skill as well. We do not want to deeply involve into it at the moment, but instead we are just maintaining a status field in our data model itself in our table. We will move the status to P. Okay, and At the same time, we will have the approval IDs configuration as well. So whatever the criteria we maintain, based on that criteria, the approval ID will be maintained against this trip ID. The same user will be allowed to approve this trip. So once it is approved, again, this is going to be a new screen on the Fiori app itself, or we can build a new app, okay, for approval. Once it is approved or it is categorized as approval is not required, then it goes to next step. So the user can initiate for settlement and submit it. The status will be set to yes. Okay. And once it is set to yes, again there will be settlement approval, and settlement approval comes into play. So he will be able to see the settlement request here, and if he approves, then the request is going to be set to closed. Okay. So if the approver settlement approver rejects it for some reason, and it will be going back to the initiator to initiate for settlement. So if the user not submitted here, and it will be in draft status. Okay, the status will be set to D, which refers to a draft status. So this is the whole end-to-end app, app point of view, process point of view. I know it will take some time. This sounds like a real time example. Okay, so at this point, wherever we need input helps or API publish, what is going to be the entity set needs to be published, and etc. We are going to discuss. We are going to look into the data model straight away. Let me take a pause and let me log into my system. Okay, so now let me show you the data model, what we have here in our system at the moment. Let me go to our package rather. So here, let me see my dictionary objects, database tables. So ignoring these two tables, as we know, these two tables are created already. But here, if you see, uh, there is something as well. Okay, okay. So this trip I is covering our trip items, which will have the item ID and trip ID. So this is the header ID. I'll go to the trip header table. I think I did it in local object. Let me go to local object. Come on. Back to the friendly language. So trip hatch, if you see here, so this is going to be our trip header information. As I mentioned, this trip ID, we will be having a number object created for this. Whenever a new trip is getting saved, we will generate a new number, and we will just pass all these information, and we will put it in this table in draft status. At the first instance, if it is submitted, if you see here, trip trip status, trip status. Someone in the lobby, let me allow. Yeah. So this trip status, we have multiple statuses built into this one. So they're all at domain level values. We have created here draft, pending approval, approved, pending settlement, and closed. So this is the flow as well. So we are going to build an entity set based on this one to um, show the users open requests or user created ones. So we are not going to build this as a straightforward one. We will be having the created by filter. Sorry, created by filter. So this created by, we will be defaulting it to the system user. So whoever logs in, those requests the user needs to be able to see. And if you are set as an approver, then trip approver and settlement approver, these two users are going to be considered, and whatever the entries created and how the user as approver, those requests will be displayed for approval. Okay, so I know it is realistic and it's gonna take time as well. But as we are traveling along with these requirements, we are going to plug in wherever what kind of capability or what kind of approach we will be taking. So they all help in terms of finishing this complete end-to-end application. So here we have some additional flag as well. It indicates whether it is international travel or not. And first in place from country and to country. So the travel start date and the end date. Okay. So which state to which state the user is traveling. Okay. So these all information will help us to build this one. So if you clearly observe is from country and to country, they are the country keys where we need to have input helps as well. So here we must use the country table to support the input helps. Okay. And from date to date, of course, there will be date automatically. There will be a help for date type, and state from and state to. We'll be using the region as our base for input help. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes, but coming to the OData point of view, nothing will be supported whatever we have at data element level. So they are all ignored, and we need to build the input helps manually in terms of input help. Sorry, entity sets in the form of entity sets. Okay. And there's a stripped status. So this is going to be managed in the backend. But if someone interested to build an application, the report based application, so this status will help them. For example, administration point of view, if someone needs to look at what status, sorry, how many requests exist with specific status and etc. So they can base this table and they can build the report. And after this, we have trip items. So it's a spell mistake, AI, that's okay. So we here also we have a trip item. This is going to be a new number object again in our case, because I was ending up to creating these many key fields. So whereas I didn't want to include all of them in our key fields in terms of if we want to read a specific trip detail, then in the URI we need to input all these fields. So I thought of avoiding all these fields being the key fields in the database. So that's the reason I have included another number object creation at item level as well. So in this case, we will have only one key field, and the relationship between the item and a header is going to be trip ID. So if we substitute trip ID here, so we will get all the number of trip details. So here for details, the from country to country is repeated again. So we need it because if we plan a travel in the header, it will be source to destination. But item level, if we see, I may travel from country A. If suppose my source and destination is A to D, then I may travel from A to B and B to C and C to D, like this. So for that purpose, I have created these fields here, and here we have included the city from and city to. So this city from and city to, so they are self explanatory. We are going to provide some input helps for this city from and city to. So there is no data in the system at the moment. We are going to take advantage of in-app extensibility concepts, and we will be creating some data for this as a help. So we will use those as a help data sources. And date from, date to, it's obviously uh, with respect to these countries and travels. And travel mode, what is the mode of travel the user is traveling? So it can be any kind of these modes: air, drive or road, train, public transport, or others, if there are any. So these are the travel modes here. So there can be a number of modes within the country itself, from country to country, from city to city. The user can travel in different modes as well. Okay, and if user travels, what is going to be the local contact and local address, the total expenses caused for this particular mode of transport, and what is the currency for this, and travel mode comments. So if there is anything need to be conveyed in this travel mode, so we are just limiting it to 255 characters, and so that user can enter these in comments. Okay, so this is our items table, and we have a approval table as well. So approval table. So this is where we configure our approvers. So if the from country and to country is this one, and what is the approver type? So this will have the travel trip approver or settlement approver. So we will take this as a base to determine our approval. So I forgot to include the auto approval limit here. So if the travel expense within the limit of some certain amount for that from country and to country, so we will maintain that currency amount here. If that is within the limit, then we consider it as auto approved. Otherwise, we will send it for approval. Okay, and again for calculations, we have trip units as well here. So obviously, we need to know what is the uh, price limit for city to city transportation, and what is the distance in kilometers. Okay, so based on this one, we will be looking at what is the price. Is it realistic or something like that? So based on this, we will control again the approval steps. Okay, so this is what I thought of sharing as part of our example what we are going to do. So now it's up to us who how we implement this API. So I can start with it. and you can copy it. And if we are able to build a successful application based on this example, I think we would be almost there, for at least where OData will come into picture. Okay, so any questions on this data model right now?
No.
Okay, so it's clear now. That's okay. So unfortunately, I didn't get time to create the number objects for this trip ID and trip item. I think I would need to create the number object. So before that, if we go ahead and create our data models in our gateway project, let me do that. We are straight away starting off creating our own app process right now. So let me go to CGW, and I'm creating new project. I'm not using the existing project now. So we have some knowledge base running in our mind. So how the entity sets will look like. If I'm taking it forward, you can stop me if you don't understand something in between. So all these artifacts and the hierarchy, whatever we see here, we are almost pretty much clear about this. But at some parts of it, in the implementation, we will be knowing part of our application right now. So let me go ahead and create my project. So let me name it as Trip Planner. Okay, I'll assign to my package. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere. But as we have created package, okay, mm, what is this? That's okay, no problem. So these are all the artifacts are going to be generated, and this is what is going to be our OData service. So here at the first instance, I didn't clearly describe what this service version is. So that time you might easily got confused. So this service version is like our code versions. So it's not about OData version. OData version V2, V4, it's not that version. It is about our version. So why this is required? If we want to generate a new version of the service, we can generate a new version of service. So that means whatever the applications built based on the version 1 will still continue working as expected. So whenever we want to create new applications using the new capabilities or new functionalities based on version 2 of this service, we can keep incrementing this service. If we want to release new functionalities, we can increment this version, and we can tell the customer that, look, that you are still using our service version 1. If you try to use version 2, you get all the enhanced features. Okay, that is what this version means. So let me go ahead, and again let me assign my package. Okay, so it's generating my runtime artifacts at the moment. Perfect. All the artifacts got generated, you see here. So now we don't have anything in our data model. So let me go ahead and create entity type. travel header type, and let me create the associated entity set as well. And this time I'm going to name it as travel header, not set, travel header. That's fine. And now what I'm going to do here for now, I'm going to assign my database table as we have this database table, and whatever the fields I want, I can include those fields into that one. So obviously I do not need all these administration information, whatever is being here, these fields, I do not need them on my OData. But if you are creating any reporting point of view, then obviously we would need this. If we are planning to display when it has been changed or created or something like that, then yes, all these fields required. Otherwise, we do not need these fields. So let me include all the fields, no harm including the fields. So go to import properties, and let me select all of them and remove this entity. Go ahead and let me select trip ID as my key field. I do not need any other fields as key fields because I know I'm going to generate a new number each time user triggers a post request. Finish. That's fine. These are related to this date and time. We don't mind about it. Warnings. Save it. Done. I saved it. And now I will be creating another entity type here. So travel details type and travel details. I'll name it travel details set. So details is going to be the table. Let me pick it. So let me copy it, take the structure, and now let me go ahead and import the properties of it. So properties, select all of them and remove this one, trip item and trip ID. That's okay. And here I'm going to make trip item as key field and execute it. That's it. So now we can see all the properties included in my project. So save it. Okay, good. So now I want to establish a relationship between these two entity types. So let me go ahead to my associations and create association from header to details, and let me choose my principal entity is going to be header, and principal cardinality is going to be 1, and dependent entity is going to be details, and dependent cardinality is going to be 0 to n. Perfect. Done. So now let me go ahead to travel header and include navigation property here. So let me include two details. So relationship, let me choose this association. I'm done. Save it, generate it. So my modeling is almost done towards having the two entity sets, whereas always my data creation is going to be on the header level, which is going to be a create deep entity. Okay, but before that, so this is going to be a mutual understanding between the UI developer and the backend developer. In fact, so if the consultants are different working, so one is working on UI and another one is working on backend, so it has to be clear in the document, or it has to be in the mutual understanding between UI and backend developer. So they should definitely be following the data model. And here we have two country. So these two country, to avoid further validations and etc. from country and to country, we can have a entity set created in our data model itself to accommodate the input helps. So this is where we will be ending up creating multiple entity sets. So you might be having in your mind that why are we creating multiple entity sets? So this is the reason to facilitate all the functionalities, whatever we wanted to achieve. The UI is nowhere directly connecting to backend to fetch its domain level fixed values or something, data element level such helps or something like that. So UI won't be doing it. So if at all, whatever it is there in the OData channel, that really matters to UI, and it can make use of that entity set, whatever the representation or UI presentation the UI can do. Okay. So now let me go ahead and create for this from country, and in our Eclipse, we can straight away go ahead and find the relevant entity, CDS entity for country. Let me launch my Eclipse first. So it is going to be I underscore country for country entity CDS entity. Let me go ahead and initiate the entity creation. Entity type is going to be, will name it country value H type, value help type. So in the entity set as well, we'll say country value help. Okay. So in ABAP structure, if our CDS entity supporting it, then it's fine, whatever the required for us. So we need the country code and country name. So let me look at it. Yeah, I already opened this region. Yes, I country. We have I country. Let's see whether we have the fields, required fields. Country we have, and we do not have the country name here. Okay, but what we can do, we might need to join these two. That's fine. So let me take this country text, country country text CDSU, and let me go here and see where is the SQL view name for this. Yeah, this is the one, SQL view name. Here I have the country name in this one, but here I have language as well, but I can restrict it in my implementation. So let me go here and put this one. Fine. So this is all why, because I'm just trying to reduce our effort in terms of coding. So country and country name. These two fields I want. I don't really care other fields. So let me go ahead to next step, and let me make this country as key field. Yes. execute it.
Uncle, why don't you copy CDS view name? We are copying SQL, right?
Yes, because CDSU does not CDSU name does not recognized by ABAP layer, ABAP server. Okay, so that is why we have ABAP catalog here specifically.
Okay, but when we select data from CDS view, we have to use SQL view. Is it?
No, it's a CDSU. This is there are some norms for this defining CDSU and etc. in terms of uh, the length of the CDSU name. So it can support up to 30 characters, whereas this doesn't support up to 30 characters. It's only 16 characters.
Okay,
Okay,
it's
so
fine.
it's just establishing link between these two. There will be a projection or database view created for this one. Again, there are improvements in the latest product release as well, 2021. So this way of establishing ABAP catalog SQL view is not recommended. We will be using defined view entity. That's different one. We will see in our CDS topics.
Yeah. Thank
Okay. Yeah, because going forward, the V2 OData creation in SEGW uh, may not be recommended. Okay, but for existing up to 2020, 2030, so this approach may continue to work on for all the existing customers, or if they can continuously decide to use this V2 approach, still it is recommended or supported. Okay, so but this is the base for all evolved OData models. So how they are behaving and the detailed layers and detailed architecture of the OData. So this is the base. So that's why we started with this one. So the next question you may ask, if we know this is not the recommended and it is not going to be work out, why we started and why we are working on it. So this is the base, and this is where we understand in and out of the OData service. Okay, so now let me go ahead into country value help and import these properties. Yes. Yeah, I think I have already done it. Yes, we see these properties here. Perfect, done. And now what value help we need extra? So here we need uh, state from. So this value help, we do not need to create from country to two different entity sets, one for from country and one for to country, because the data is same. The UI can make use of this country value help for both from country and to country, like we use in our backend. In our ABAP programs, the search helps we can use for multiple fields, right? So same way, the UI can consume the same entity set as an input help. So similarly, we just go ahead and create value help for our state. So we call it as state value help or region value help, whatever we want, as we are naming it state value help type. And let me create this as state value help. Obviously, in backend for us, it's going to be region. So region, I think region. We don't have the region text here. Let me go to region text. So in this one, we need to have country and region, both key fields, because the UI will be dynamically applying filter based on the selected country. Okay, so for that reason, we must need this two fields and along with region name. So let me take this as a reference for us, and let me go ahead and create. So let me expand and let me import my properties.
If
So
we don't,
yeah,
if we don't know the name, or if we don't have an idea about the relevant CDS in case for the state and
yep,
to identify the state or the region.
yep.
Now, is there any way which help us? Like, for let I need to get fiscal year based on a date. I can look for a method from which we
So
can
now,
get the cheapest, right? Get the,
so fiscal year from a date is not going to be, I think,
date
table.
and
So
yeah,
it will be the fiscal year will maybe giving through a function module, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I'm giving one example, but
Yeah.
in this case,
So
what would be the best guess to identify the right CDS?
basically, this various list will support in your real time. Okay. For example, T005. This is the country table, and from country table, if we say choose various list, and if we remove all these programs, and if you keep this data definitions, so it should show us all the CDS views that have been using this T005 table. So in this system, this has not been enabled, the various list and etc. But in real time, this will be enabled, and that is one way. And there are some predefined views as well, where if you give the table name and it will give you the CDS view as well. But if you that is another way. And if you straight away go into the table description, it says countries, right? So with these countries, obviously there will be I underscore, you can start typing countries.
Okay,
Okay, so not a whole description, you manually should start typing country or something, so you will definitely see a CDSU coming along.
okay,
Okay, and I think I have saved somewhere the table name and the CDSU linkage. I will give you that. And meanwhile, we have some in-app extensibility apps as well to browse through all the available CDSUs in the product or in the core system.
okay. And
Okay, so now where are we? Yes. So state value health has been added its properties. Come on. Okay. Is it really taking time? Yes. Yeah, we got it. And let me generate it, or before generating it, let me see if we need anything else here. Trip status, anyway, we are not going to publish as a value help. The status will be internally manipulated, and the trip approver again internal, and the settlement approver again internal. So there is nothing left in this one. That's good. Let me go to our uh, item details table as well and see if we need anything. And this city from and city to, so these two we need. We don't know the table names yet for this one. We will park this for now. And anything travel mode, yes, this travel mode we need to publish as a value help. uh, Currency, yes, currency. These two we need to add into our OData service. So travel mode and currency. So this travel mode, we have defined this at domain level, as it won't be able to pick these domain values. So we will be writing manual implementation for this one. Otherwise, if you are happy to fix these values at UI level, we can fix that in the UI level as well with our mutual understanding. So as there are limited number of values, 5 values, we can fix at UI. So let us fix them at the UI level. Okay, I'm not going to publish this as a value help so that we can experience how we will be doing at UI level as well. And this currency, of course, currency we must add into our list here. So let me add currency value help, currency value help type, and let me name it currency value help. So for this one, again, we have CDSU I underscore currency. Let me browse through it. I underscore currency. Yes, I got it. I underscore currency data definition. So let me see if I have currency text associated to it. Uh, currency currency text is not associated, but there is CDSU currency text. Let me go to currency text, and what are the, okay, this is language and currency. I'm interested in this currency. Okay, I'm happy to pick this structure. Let me go here and include it. If you see in this our example, we are all our all entity sets includes a data database structure. So let me select language, currency, currency name. So these two are enough for me. Go ahead. Let's make currency as a key field. Perfect. So now, if you see, there are many entity sets have been created in this project. So we will be implementing get entity set for this country, get entity for all the value helps. We will be implementing only get entity set. We do not need get entity for these value helps, because from UI we are not going to fetch particular details. They are just value helps. For these three, we will just implement get entity set alone. And but for these two, we will be implementing get entity set, and also create deep entity and create entity for details item as well. Okay, so let me generate our project. So meanwhile, um, what I can do, okay, let me wait for it. Yeah, this is generated, and let me go and pick up my mpc ext class. So let me go to class builder. So we're going to change, and now we all know how to implement the get entity set of any of the entity type that we created in our gateway project. So now let us straight away go ahead and implement our currency value help or country value help, whatever is first. So here state value help, yeah, state value help is first. then that's fine. We can go ahead and implement get entity set of state. So let me redefine it. So we know how to implement this one. It's a repeated step for all of us, but instead I'm doing it region text. So I'll be selecting country here. Select start from region text, or I can even specify my field names. That would be better. Country and region, then a region name from this one into corresponding fields of table et this one. And now I need to apply the logic language, where language equals to system language. Okay, so now I will just okay, so for this one there is specific one. As I mentioned, we need to apply filter select options as well, because we will be getting country key from the UI. So based on that, we need to give the regions back. Okay, so it's a dependent on country, so that we need to implement the filter criteria here. So if this is not initial, then let's go ahead and get the country. A range of land one. I think I can. Or I think I didn't. I mentioned you something. There is one framework gateway framework class, so which will help us filtering data, but there are some data actually. I think I don't know whether we have seen this one. So in this class we have the filtering filtering. So if we give the filtering parameters and data, it will automatically filter the data for us. We don't need to do anything. And let me call that method here. So filtering, after getting the data, we can straight away filter this. The countries, and let me copy this one here. That's it. And let us apply the ordering as well. So sort ALT entity set. This is not going to be a dynamic one. It's just the fixed one by region. So I'll just sort this based on region.
because we got only one filter criteria.
Yes, yes. From UI we will not be having any sort criteria.
uh,
Yep. So let
and
us save this one.
sorry,
Yep.
filtering method, we are not passing any filter criteria. Whatever the filter criteria we receive,
Yes. We are not specifying anything. So this will work for all the filters. Whatever, if the UI is giving multiple countries or not equal to countries, exclusions, inclusions, whatever it is, we don't mind. So it just handles everything here.
okay.
Okay. So LT countries is not type compatible. Uh, don't know if this works. Nope. Sorry, my bad. I need to input the filter parameters, and here into I can still use that one. So it will be just changing. That's it. So here you go. Fine. Perfect. One job is done. And now let's go back, and what else we need to implement? So we need to implement state is done, currency or country. Currency, country. What is next? Currency. So let's pick up currency get entity set. So here again, if we want to restrict this one based on the to country or from country, if the requirement asks us to do okay, the user selected to country is this one, and the expenses everything has to be calculated in this two country currency. So if the requirement turns into that way, then we must facilitate our currency um, entity set with the country field as well. So in that case, this country CDSU is not going to help us because we don't know what is the country of this one, right? Sorry, this is region, right? Currency. So we don't know country of this one. So in that case, we might look into creating new CDSU or directly implement based on the tables provided in the business requirement documents, how the determination logic should be for that particular one. So, but for now, we are giving an option to the user select whatever the currency user wants. And let me go ahead here to the currency. I currency is the one. I currency text. So let me select this I currency text. It's going to be a straightforward one. Select from I currency text whatever what we have. I don't need language. I need currency and currency. That's a short name. Currency name. Okay. So from this one into corresponding fields of table et, and now we just apply sorting. That's it. So sort et by currency. Okay, the second entity implementation is done again, and now let me go back and pick up the country value help get entity set. Let me redefine it. So if you have any doubts or questions in mind, I think they might be clearing off uh, doing when I'm doing this. I'm guessing that about implementing the entity sets. So currency, just country. So this is the country text. I'm just going into country text. Country text. So selecting the country key and the country name from this one into corresponding fields of table is this one. That's fine. And we will just uh, solve.
Language is not required.
Oh yes, that's exact. I'm missing language.
Yeah,
I
we
think
will
I need to. Yeah, yeah, I need to add that. Thank you for making me realize where language equal to system language. That's good. And let's activate this one. Done. Let me go back and do it for currency as well. I think we did it for state, but we forgot to do it where language, system language. Done. So we have three entity sets implemented right now, and whatever left for us is travel details, get entity. We need to implement. Let me redefine it. So I'm just saving it and go back. Uh, Travel details, get entity set. Yes, we need it. Let me redefine it. And this create entity, travel entity. We need all of them actually. Deletion everything. Save it. Delete it. Update it. Every entity set we need. So save it. Update. Not this update. Travel details update. Okay, perfect. And here, mm, travel create entity. I think we don't need create entity, but delete entity we need it. If user deletes a draft request, if it is in draft status, if the user wants to delete it completely, then we need delete entity. Uh, Get entity. If user requests for get entity with a specific trip trip ID, we need this one. And get entity set, of course we need it for initial display of the display list of the travel requests. So let's save it. And update update. I think so. If user wants to update anything, we need for example from country or to country. If user decide to change, we need that one as well. Travel header create entity is not required because we will be implementing deep entity. We are going to make at least one item mandatory in the app. So let's try to redefine create deep entity. Just redefine this create deep entity. Okay, so we have just redefined and left everything blank for now. I'm going to apply filter now. I do not want to navigate down and up, so that's the reason I just redefined and kept them blank. So now we know what all we need to do. So we have few things done and a few things left. They are pending for us now. Okay. So now let's go ahead and implement the travel the travel header. There is this travel header get entity set. So travel header get entity set. So this is what is going to be our base now. So in this one, what we need to do, we just need to select the data in the table, trip h. Where is it? Yep. So trip h. Let's go ahead and select trip h, and we need to restrict this to created by user. So select star from trip h into corresponding fields of table et entity set ordered by trip id. Okay, so and we should apply where um, created by equal to sci u name or changed by equal to sci u name. In any manner, if this user is involved across the trip id, we are just displaying that particular request. Okay, so now that's fine. And if we want to apply the filters, let's call the same method what we have used, and this one is going to support us in terms of filtering, and we applied paging as well on this one. So filtering it filter options, and this is the data. Where is it? Yeah, yeah, et, and also we apply the uh, paging as well. So we do not want to handle that independently after realizing it. As we know what paging means, we just go ahead and use paging instantly here. So let's is paging. Where is the parameter? Yes, put is paging and input the data, and it goes and returns or applies the paging for us. We don't need to specify anything, but keep in mind that if we are dealing with a huge volume of data, then this is not the recommended way of doing it. So here, say matching this criteria, if we have 1 million records, then we are bringing all 1 million records into our LEW, and then we are applying paging, okay, which is not recommended, as we know that there is uh, little volume of data we will be dealing with. I'm just applying this paging. And in your real scenarios as well, if you are sure that you don't have more volume of records in your scenario, then only we use this one. All these, including filtering as well. Okay, otherwise, don't use this approach and follow the filtration at data fetching itself. Push that filtration into the database. So now let me activate this one. I see some error. Order. Okay, I stopped it here. Perfect. So now it's done from entity set point of view, travel header entity set point of view. I think it's going to be same for travel item as well. So these are all simple stuff. Travel details, get entity set. Let me go inside and put the same implementation what we have done for header get entity set, and let me trip items. Okay, and here if you see, we need to we need to join both trip header and trip item, because we will be not having this created and changed by users in item table. So let me join them. Trip hedge, sorry, trip here as inner join ZTH, trip hedge as B on A, trip ID equals to B trip ID, and whereas B created by equal to this name, or B changed by equal to this name. So now it filters the data according to the user logged in, and order by is going to be um, trip ID, and sorry, I need to specify the alias name, a trip ID and trip item. So I need to sort them by trip ID and trip item. If there are any filters, that's okay. It's gonna apply the filters. So let's, okay, still have errors. What is that error? Trip ID, okay, trip underscore ID. So any errors? No errors. Just activating it. Perfect. So these are activated now. So now we are doing all um, get implementations at the moment. So how the data is coming into this one? So that is in the manner of create entities, right? So we should be looking at create entities. Okay, so create, we will be having different kinds of different kinds of approaches we would be taking. So as we have seen, create deep entity, yes, of course, we need this create deep entity, and after create deep entity, we will end up having multiple situations. We will discuss that. But in create deep entity, coming to create deep entity, we know how to get the payload data here using which parameter IO data provider. We will be having the payload information here, but we would be needing to create or establish a new types declaration here, new variable declaration having deep structure in it to capture all the payload information into it. So okay, yes,
Sorry to disturb you. Actually, we have an option to create any new method in the DPC class or MPC class.
yes, you can DPC ext. You can create your own methods. You can reuse it, no issue. And again, yeah,
Uh, why? Because we have a reusability
yes,
code
yes, yes,
that can
yes,
be right.
yes, that's true. So you can create your own method here and you can reuse it. Or if you have any utility methods being used by cross modules in your customer place, you can use those methods in respective implementations. Okay. And yeah, as we are on that, I would tell you that whatever you see here, ext, these are the classes where we will be implementing our doing our implementations. So we have two places this ext. One is at MPC ext and another one is at DPC ext. So this DPC ext and MPC ext, once they are generated, they are not going to be modified anyway by the framework. If you do your implementations or declarations anywhere in DPC or MPC classes, they will be overwritten, they will be wiped out by the framework. Okay, so we should be careful about it. And let me go here, and we need to uh, yeah, two number objects, one for um, trip trip ID and another one for trip item. So let me create this number object, trip ID, uh, create, and short text, trip ID, trip ID, and number length domain. We just use the domain that we have created for this. I don't want to introduce anything new. So trip ID, this is the number created for this, and whenever there is 10%, just warn me. That's okay. Prefix, no prefix. I don't want any prefix. That's okay. So now let me save this. Okay, and let me go ahead and create this. What is this? Yeah, these are change documents for this. Let me go into this one. Intervals, number range here, ID. Let's say ID. I would mention from say 2 series. Okay, up to 21111. Yeah, up to this, and I'll insert another one here for trip item. We'll be using same same number object and three. So, okay, done. Save it. Uh, uh, Customer transfer. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now we have number object as well created. So uh, intervals. Okay, if it starts with 2 series, then it's a header. If it starts with 3 series, it will be item. So that is the way we will be identifying them. So now this is the real one. Okay, so now how? Yes,
Uh, I think preparing would be a foreign key, right?
yes, foreign key in the items table.
We'll get two different numbers.
To
Number items.
yes, it's
Can we get the
no, the domain is same. Domain is same. So it's a number range doesn't
domain
matter.
great, but the number, if you wanted to fetch from header trip ID to item trip ID, foreign key, how it would match? Your numbers series different.
Yes. So did you see the structure, the table structure?
Okay, okay. I can see that.
Okay.
See.
So in the table structure, it's a unique. We are not considering trip ID as key.
Okay, okay. Sir,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Where I left. Okay, that's fine. So now the format, the payload format, what we would be having is first we will see from gateway point of view, and I will introduce you to uh, check your web ID today. So I'll just um, show you how you should launch your web ID and log into it, so that we can have some examples there. So UI examples as well, how it communicates, and it's up to you how you design your UI. So this is the requirement, the end-to-end requirement. So I think probably I may um, give some UI layouts tomorrow. So what we are going to do at the UI side as well for this. So now, so these all fields are framework controlled. They are administrative data, but rest of the fields, trip ID, again, it's going to be generated uh, from country. Yes, we need this in our payload, but don't follow the table while you are preparing payload. Follow your gateway entity properties, entity type properties. So these are the actual names. They are considered when we speak with outside world of gateway. So now we need to prepare the data, right? As we do not have any data in our tables at the moment, it's free for us. So there may be tools available in internet. I think I do not have right URL at the moment. If I uh, Google it, you may be diverted. So I'm just opening my notepad. So I just go to my notepad and I know that it's going to be started this one. I think if you have notepad plus plus, then it will be formatted well. If you add JSON formatting into notepad plus plus, otherwise I will be adding these fields here manually. So from country, whereas it is property and then value. From country, I would say GB, comma, and then add to country. So from UI, basically there will be mock server initiation. So whenever the UI gets this metadata of this OData service, the mock servers will generate mock data, and from that we will get this JSON format, and we can easily make adjustments to payload and we can post it. But in our case, uh, we do not have UI connectivity. If we have been asked to test this service, how we will be testing. So that's what it is. From date is going to be 2021 and 12/24, and this format sometimes you will be struggling to sort out this format. Sometimes we need to give epoch format, which is Unix system format. To date 2021 31 sorry 12/31 is international travel. Yep. Yes.
For data, I mean, do we have this file upload concept here?
Mm,
From
in
the file, I want to
in gateway, you mean?
get.
Yeah, we can check that. I don't think payload upload payload. Uh, there is something. I'm not sure if that is the payload add file. Yes, we have file upload. Yes. State from I think the state from is not sure about this one. What the fixed value here, but state two. Let me put some dummy value there, and this trip status. We need to say D, or it's for UI understanding what action has been taken in the UI. But backend, obviously, we need to decode it. TripAdvisor settlement approval. We don't need any of this. So here, if we want to add some additional fields, which we need to convert something based on the UI data, so we can add additional fields, but they also must be part of our gateway project here. So in those situations, whatever the fields you don't want in your database table and you want uh, in your gateway project, at the time you will be going ahead and you will be removing your structure reference and you will add the rest of the fields in your properties. Okay, it doesn't mean you keep adding the fields in your database table and you keep those fields always blank. So that's not the one. And if you still feel a structure is required, and you create new database structure and include this table structure in that and add additional fields. That's the another way how we do it. Okay, so let me save this one into my desktop, for example, payloads, trip header, um, deep. And now we know that we need to add our deep structure as well here. So what is the navigation property here? Two details. So two details, go to two details and add two details and include square bracket and then curly bracket and close the curly bracket, square bracket. Now enter. So this means we are just going with one line item at the moment. Let me go to travel details properties, and now we add all these information. So this trip ID anyway, as it is going to be post call, this will be generated and trip item also generated, and they both will be updated in the program. And this from country to country, city from city to, all these information will be populated. So let me copy some of the stuff from here so that I can make changes to it. I'll make change command. So to country and from country, and copy from country. And in this case, I'm traveling through uh, France from country, sorry, from country, uh, GB, and to country is going to be France, and I'll be starting my journey on this day, and to date I'll be traveling to France. I'll be landing on 25th, for example. Is international, again it's yes, and state from, I'll leave those, sorry, it's not state from here, it's going to be city from and city to. So city from and city to. City to, it's not a trip status, it's going to be travel mode. So the travel mode is going to be air, or if we want to make it T, I can make it T, which is referred to train, and local contact, and so that's fine. So if we create any one entry in our table, then we can get the payload when we trigger a get request, so that we can modify it. Okay, so for now we have got this. Where is this? Yep, we have got this information, and let me copy this and create one more object inside the array, so that we'll have two records and two items will be generated. Okay, so in this case, this is going to be France, and this is going to be IN, and from date is going to be maybe 28th or something. I may stay there, and then I may reach India on 20th or 29th. So it's international again, city from and city, that's fine, and the travel made is going to be A. Okay, so this is what my deep payload at the moment. So let us go here into the gateway, not gateway. Let me go to service catalog, maintain service, and here let me search for travel plan, trip planner, not I don't know. No, nothing found here. Of course, nothing found because we have not registered this service yet. So this service has not been registered in service catalog yet. If you see, there is no entry here. So now how we register our service? Add service. It's taking big time there. Okay. Come on, come back quickly. Okay, that's fine. Bottleneck. Maintain service. So click on add service. Bottleneck gone. So let's add our service. Click on this one and now register it. Perfect. So for us, it doesn't matter if we do it a local transport as well. That's okay. And now we have this service available. We can launch it for our testing. So just click on it, go to gateway client. Perfect. And let me add URI option metadata and see how metadata is. Yeah, this all perfect. Good. All our entity sets, everything has been listed. So now let me upload my file here to see. Come on. Yep, we have got file, the payload file here, and let me format a little bit. Yeah, this looks better. And let me go to post here, remove this one. So post request, and let me choose my entity set, travel header. Come on. Okay, anyway, I have it. So this is fine now. Now we can make a post call, whereas from data of offset 78. So this will always create a problem, the date format. So what we can do, this date format uh, DD, okay. Let us convert this into epoch format. Epoch converter. So if we see the date here, 22, what is the date for us? 24. Let me remove all the time here. GMT. Okay, so this is the timestamp here. So this timestamp value we should give here the forward or backward slashes. I think one forward and one backward. Come on. Forward, where is backward? Yeah. Date of this number. That's it. So okay, I know how to deal with it. Don't worry. Gateway client. Let me go select. We have examples here. Trigger it. Format JSON. Yes. Okay. So backward and then forward slash. I'm missing that. Sorry. First backward and then. Okay. So same date formats for other dates as well, but here we need to see what is the number for that. 31st. The date is 31st. So for 31st, this is the number. In terms of timestamp, we have SAP format as well. That format follows what I have inputted just before, and after that it starts with T and then time, hour, minute, and second format. From date, this is the from date, and this is going to be 25th. So for 25th, it's just converting into seconds and doing it. That's what it is doing, nothing else. We don't need to worry what this format is. And here it's going to be 28. 28.
When we input this date from the fairy tile screen, so how do we take care of
No,
this?
that's that that will automatically get converted.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, come on. And takes and it should be 13 digit 3 3 6 3 9 10. And this is 29th. Yeah, I should take this one, not the other one. Okay.